wait the 10 seconds in order for me to populate on here so I can share it to the other pages. And then we're going to rock and roll. Today is going to be a good message. And then I also have to start it on Instagram. So hello to you guys on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and soon to be Instagram. So as soon as I see my beautiful little face here, and I can say that, I can call myself beautiful. Let me share this real quick to my other pages, and we're going to get ready. I don't know what just happened, but it was like Siri started talking to me. Oh, I know why I was tapping my phone. I set up the touch thing, and she popped up on my computer. Jeez, Apple. They do a lot. So if whoever's watching right now, just give me these 15 seconds to share this real quick. And then I'm going to populate Instagram, and we're going to be ready to rock and roll to the summer soul. You can rock to your 101 years old. Hey, Sugar Hill Gang. I don't mean to brag. I don't mean to boast, but we like hot butter on the breakfast toast. Hey. All right. Don't click off because I'm singing. Don't click off because I'm singing. Okay, so here I go. That was one page. I have like 3 pages to share it to because I'm on my studio, but I don't like when the studio puts it on all the pages because it separates the views, and I want all the views to be under one. So for Facebook, that is. So hello, and I don't know where y'all watching from. It gives me my count total, but I can't tell if you guys are from Facebook, from YouTube, Periscope. So say hi in the chat. I can read the chat from everywhere in one chat. So just say hi in the chat so I know who you are, where you're from. You can shout out your city if you want to. I'll repeat it. Just don't shout out nothing you don't want me to say out loud because I probably will because I have no filter most of the time. That's it. That one. Okay, let me share it right there. This is why I need an assistant. Hey, I see more people are popping in again. I don't know where y'all popping in from. I don't know if y'all watching on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, or Periscope. So please just say hi in the chat so I'll know who y'all are. If y'all watching and y'all see a tally in the top and it look like ain't nobody watching, just know that this is being streamed out to multiple places. So it's people out here with y'all. Y'all not alone in the universe. That's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, too. Oh, I can't wait. Hey. Okay. Hit share. Okay. Hey. All righty. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Let me go live on Instagreasy. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Instagram. So I'm live everywhere. We're going to get ready to rock and roll. Go back to my Facebook chat so I can always see the Facebook chat. So I hope y'all having a good Sunday. I hope y'all ready for this Thanksgiving holiday and that you're living a life of Thanksgiving and that you are just thankful for whatever happens to be happening in your life right now. And I definitely understand that when things aren't going well, it's hard to hear people say be thankful. But I promise you, thankfulness and gratitude changes your energy. It changes your world, changes your life. So if you can't do anything else in this world, be thankful for something. Find something to be thankful for. Find some reason to have some gratitude, the attitude of gratitude. I remember when my kids were younger, and we kind of still do it now, not all the time. We fell off. But we used to sit at the table and not only just say what happened in our day, but we would say something that we were thankful for, something that we learned. And that was the way to have like great conversation. And so, I think I'm going to reinstitute that with my daughter, especially since she's home all the time with me, so that we are finding ways to be thankful. But yeah, Thanksgiving is coming up. Find a way to have an attitude of gratitude. So I don't know if you saw the title, but the title says, your power says you are possible. Your power says you are possible. Your power says you are possible. We are in a time right now, because of the pandemic, there are a lot of people right now who are finding it really hard to just hold on to anything. And depression has like steeped in early for a lot of people and has been holding on. But when you look at the season that we're in now, psychologically, this is one of the hardest seasons, even though people say that this is um, the season to be happy and all of that, a lot of times people find themselves feeling alone. They feel like their lives aren't working out the way they wanted to. They feel depressed, and so we're in a really hard season right now. And so, aside from saying, earlier that you really do need to find a reason to be thankful, one thing that we have to hold on to is the fact that you are more powerful than you give yourself credit for. You are more powerful than anything that you could ever know. And I keep looking down at my phone so I could say the title, but your power says you are possible. Every week, and if you guys have been hanging with me and watching these, I've been doing these for like 10 years, but if you guys have been watching, you know that I say this every week. Every week I struggle with what we're going to talk about. Every week I'm sitting there 5 minutes before I'm getting ready to open up the studio, and it's like, oh, what are you going to talk about today, Tanoa? And today I went through like 15 things. And last week I said that I was going to talk about something in particular. And oh my God, that concept is so vast and it's so powerful that I want to do it justice. And so I didn't want to just throw that together for this week. So I wanted to find something that was strong that would lead me into next week. And then I started remembering. So I talk all the time about how I feel like I am a staunch insomniac. I'm sorry, my daughter just fell. Her bedroom is above where I am, and she just fell, and so it made me pause real quick. But she's laughing on the phone with her friend, so I guess she's fine. Great parenting. Hey, Tanoa, good job. But so I'm like this diehard insomniac. I don't want to be, but I just don't sleep. And most of the time when I'm not asleep, I may not get up and do things physically, but that's when my brain gets deeper and deeper, right? It goes deeper into the rabbit hole. And so the other day I couldn't sleep, and so I pull out my phone and I started thinking about the word power, because I knew I wanted to talk about. So the concept next week is going to be will to power, and that's a Nietzsche concept, and it's deeper, so I'm not going to even get into it. But basically Nietzsche was saying you can just will yourself to do anything, and that's how powerful you are, and that's how you pull the power to do it. But again, it's deeper. But I started looking up this concept of power, and I wanted to look up universal power, because I truly believe that power exists and that it is in each of us. And when you look at somebody, when you see somebody, when someone is approaching you, you actually feel not just their energy, but it's like you feel their power emanating from them. It's like animals can feel that from you too. So if you're around an alpha animal of any sort and you are this powerful being, they are very watchful of you. They're watching your every move. And sometimes they're ready to rev up on you because they feel it. They feel this power. And we're often trying to be the most powerful people in the room. I remember once I had a supervisor when I worked at Disney, and I remember saying to them, I'm not going to say gender. I'm not going to leave it gender neutral. So you guys, if you guys are watching and have worked with me at Disney, you won't know who I'm talking about. But I remember saying to them, we were having this disagreement, if you will. I was being very respectful. I'm an Army girl, so I learned at an early age, I don't have to like you, but I'm going to respect your rank. But I don't have to agree with you, but I'm still going to respect your rank, right? And so finally I said to her, I said, okay, it's okay. It's just clear to me that right now we seem to be having a power struggle. She was so offended. No, we're not having a power struggle. Like I'm the powerful person in the room right now. Hey, Linwood, I'm the powerful person in the room right now. And I was like, no, we're having a power struggle right now, because you want to say something and force me to believe it, but I actually own my own power, and people can feel that from me. And so they usually try to hurry up and stuff me into a box to try to get me to lessen the reins on who I'm naturally gifted to be. But I was born this way. None of us are supposed to let go of who we are. We're always supposed to hold on and be exactly who we are, because we are supposed to add to the energy in the space and change the dynamics and change the room. And if people walk into a room and they want the dynamics to always stay the same, then you're in the wrong room. Because every single time we walk into any room in any space, we are meant to change the dynamics. So anyway, I digress. So I was awake the other night, couldn't sleep. And so I said, well, let me look up the concept of universal power. right? Because I love the word power, and I love to see how it's connected. And in that deciding to just Google power and universal power and cosmology and cosmologic power and how power operates in the universe, I fell down the Marvel rabbit hole. Now, there are a lot of you out there who are diehard superhero fans, whether it's Marvel or DC. My son is a superhero guru. And he gets so upset with me because every year, if I'm shopping, I'll call it, depending on who I'm shopping for, I'll call him and I'll say, okay, is Batman DC or Marvel again? He's like, Mom, I'm not telling you this anymore. I tell you this all the time. So I I have often said that I wish I was a superhero. And I know that I am, but it's like I want a name, I want a cape, I want everything. And one of my cousins for my birthday was 2 weeks ago. Hey, still birthday, happy birthday, what? And one of my cousins brought me a gift, and she said, "You always say you want to be a superhero." And she brought me this art piece of art poster, framed, and it's going through all the things that a superhero is and are and what they do. And she was like, "I see. So here, now you are, and now you know it." So I have it in front of my desk because it's like, yes, child, I am a superhero. Thank you, appreciate that. But yeah. So anyway, while I was in my insomniacal void, I started looking up universal power, and I fell down the Marvel rabbit hole. And oh my gosh, so as you know, for those people who stand in line for 20 hours for a ticket to the new Marvel movie when it comes out, and they give all the spoilers on social media as soon as they watch it and mess it up for other people, because if the movie comes out at 12 o'clock, then they're in line at 9 p.m. waiting for the midnight showing because they have to be the first, right? And so, but that all these superhero stories they have their theme like written out, like there are no gaps for the greats. There are no gaps. You can see how one person's story connects to the other person's story. You know how they came to be. You know how their power came about. And so superhero anything is all about the concept of power, right? Because these superheroes are powerful. They have to have power. We have to know how it came to be. We have to know what can stop it, what can fuel it. We have to know everything about it, right? And so I found this because I put in the words, and I don't search with sentences. I usually just search with keywords and see what comes back to me, right? So I put in universal power cosmology, and this popped up, and I'm gonna read it. I have it over here off to the side. But this Marvel thing popped up, and at first I wasn't gonna open it. But it's 3:39, and I looked at the clock. I was like, okay, I'm about to start researching. It is 3:39 a.m. You see those numbers, 3, 3, and 9? Oh, I like that, right? But that's another nerdy thing. So I'll tell you about that later, because I am going to talk about numbers in a minute. But so I start researching, and I see Marvel, right? And then I see Silver Surfer. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Don't tell anybody. I don't know who Silver Surfer is. I probably should have looked that up. But this is a Silver Surfer quote. And I was in, like, it was like ding. So I read this quote. Let me read this. It says, again, Marvel Universe. To wield the power cosmic is to be in touch with every other living thing at once. It is to recognize that we aren't alone in the universe, but that we are the universe. We are the cosmos coming to know itself, to love itself. And when you witness that for even the briefest moments, you will see there is nothing more beautiful. Oh, man. Let me tell y'all, I don't know what time it is because none of my clocks. Oh, 9:29. So at 9:29 p.m., it's deep, but it's not as deep as it is at 3:39 a.m. when you haven't slept in 48 hours, right? Because I think I was on my 49th hour of just being sleepy. And so it's deep. It's like many, many, many years ago when people used to drink Coca-Cola and they said it had real Coke in it, and people were just drinking it and or smoking and smoking. I forgot the drug because I don't do drugs and stuff, or weed. And what is it when you smoke and it makes you hallucinate? And people would do that, and then they would write their deepest stuff. I think for me, because I don't drink or do drugs, I think that's my hallucinogen. No sleep. It's like I'm brilliant at 3:39 a.m. And so I read this, and I was like, oh my god, like this is deep. So I'm gonna read my favorite part again. Well, I guess all of it. To will the power cosmic is to be in touch with every other living thing at once. Y'all know we're all connected, right? We are all the same thing. We are stardust, right? And stars were the first thing created. They are the first source of light. The universe was in complete darkness until the light came. And the light came from a single atom. And that single atom has created everything in the universe. We are the singular atom. We are part of the singular atom. So we are the same as stardust. We are all connected. If you think about it, I have a different face, different body type, different skin color, but we are all the same person because up under this flesh, we are all the same bone, right? The same energy creates every part of our body, right? So we share that. So we are all the same. So to will the power cosmic is to be in touch with every other living thing at once. It is to recognize that we aren't alone in the universe, but that we alone are the universe. That's the power. We are the cosmos coming to know itself, to love itself. And when you witness that for even the briefest moments, you will see there is nothing more beautiful. So many times we live this life like we are alone. And at the end of the day, we come in this world alone, we die alone, right? And so no one's, even if we were holding somebody's hand and died at the same time, took the last breath at the exact same time, and someone read time and death at the exact same time, then it doesn't mean that that person is sharing that same experience with you. It just means that we're sharing it at the same time as the same being, but not the same. So it is nothing more beautiful in the world to realize that we're not alone because we are all the same power, right? Which means everything is possible. We alone are the universe. So I want to talk about that. So one of the things that we tend to do, because the title of this, again, let me look at it. Your power says you're possible. Our power says we're possible. Your power says I'm possible. My power says you're possible. No matter how you look at that, power says possible. It doesn't matter what word you put in front of it, what designation of ownership you put in front of it. We are powerful beings in this universe, right? And so one of the things that I mentioned a little while ago is that, hold on, I lost my page. Okay, one of the things I mentioned a minute ago is that I have this thing with numbers, right? I love numbers. Like when I say I'm like the biggest nerd ever, I'm like the biggest nerd ever. I'm not in school finishing a PhD because I need to say I'm brilliant, and I am gonna love my title of Dr. Bond. I mean, don't get it twisted, but I'm not doing that because I need to be considered like the smartest or the best. I'm doing it because it's school, and when I'm not in school and I'm not learning, I don't know what to do with my life. So I'm still learning. I'm like a big nerd, and I love numbers. I love music because those are the frameworks and the building blocks of the universe, right? But one of the things we tend to do when we are feeling powerless is we believe we are alone, right? We believe that we are singularly going through something alone and that there's nobody in the world who will understand, nobody in the world who will know what it is we're going through, no one in the world who will be able to lend any type of emotions or words or feelings or thoughts to what we're going through because they just don't understand. And so I was trying to take notes because I told you I had 15 concepts to talk about today. So I'm trying to see where I was going with this. But first, let's define the word power. Y'all know I like a definition. I got both my dictionaries right here. I already wrote one of the definitions down, but if it doesn't seem to be sufficient, y'all know I'm going to pull up one of these dictionaries, either American Heritage or the American Psychological Association. We're going to get a definition up in this piece. But this definition came from Google. It really did come from a dictionary. I just didn't pay attention to which one. So it says power is defined as the ability or capacity to act or perform effectively. The ability or capacity to act or perform effectively. It's also the authority. Power is the authority. Your power says you're possible. Your authority says you're possible. My power says I'm possible. My authority says I'm possible. So when I'm feeling at my weakest, I have to remember that I have authority over this thing. I have authority over the dominions in my life. I have authority over the things that are trying to hold me back. I have authority. I can speak things into existence and they have to come true. My power says I'm possible. Your power says you're possible. What is power? The ability or capacity to act or perform effectively. Your authority. And often when they talk about the word power, is normally plural. Sorry, y'all. Oh, okay. Sorry, y'all. I forgot my studio goes off if I don't. And then here comes Siri. Bye, Siri. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So my authority says I'm possible. And when we look at, like I talked about Marvel a little while ago, right? When we talk about like the superhero universes, and they talk about the word power, they never say power. It's very rare that you're going to have a superhero that only has one power. Right? You're going to have a superhero that has powers with an S, or if you're being very dramatic, powers with a Z. Right? So this is not a singular thing. So when we are going through something in life and we feel like we don't have what it takes to move forward, it's because we're looking at it singularly. Right? I want this one thing to be true. I want this one thing to come true. I want this one thing to be spoken into existence. And then we tend to forget about the multitude, Lord Jesus, the multitude of other things that we have at our disposal, things that we can use, things that we can harness, things that we can call forth into being. But because we're already in a depressed state, we're forgetting that power is not singular. Power is a powers. So what are all the things that you can do? What is this authority that you have? How can you use it in multiple ways, right? Your power says you're possible. The ability or capacity to act or perform effectively. The authority. And you have more than one way to get it done. And so are we alone? Are we alone? Are we alone? Right? Are we alone? So the other day when I was thinking about numbers, I started thinking about fractions and I started thinking about parts. We often like to say that things are not working out because we're only looking at part of the story. But it's like looking at a fraction, right? So when you look at a fraction, if you say 1/5, then what you're saying is this is just one part of 5. Or if you say 2/3, this is 2 parts of 3. But when we're going through things, we don't look at it as this is part of a whole, that I'm still a whole, I'm just looking at a part. We look at it as if it's in totality. But we have to look at it as it's a fractional part, right, of a whole, right? It's a piece of a whole thing. And it's not just a piece that's singular that's tearing everything down. Singularly, it does not have enough control and power on its own, because as a whole, we have authority over everything that's bothering us. Hey, In World Traveler on Instagram, if y'all watching, go ahead and type something in the chat so I can say hi and know who you are. Ask a question. Come say something that if you don't agree, let me know you don't agree. Let's have a conversation, because that's what this is meant to be. This is meant to really be a conversation so that we all grow and learn together and excel together, and not just, that one person is the expert. No, because we all have authority over this thing, right? We all have authority. So a fraction seems small when you're talking about it by itself. But when you realize that that fraction is a part of a whole, then that fraction is not as small as you think it is, right? It's just a piece of something. It's just a part of something. That's why powers are never singular, because they're a part of something else. Sometimes a power has to have the juice from some other area in order for it to be even stronger. And so when we are thinking that we're alone, when we're thinking that things are not working out for us, one thing we have to remember is that, first of all, we're not alone in this universe. And so other people can come and remind you of your power. That's why you need to have a great circle of friends and a great friendship train and maybe great family members. And I say that because not everybody has family that they can always count on. And that's really sad. You know, that saying is that we can choose our friends, but we can't choose we can't choose our family, but we can choose our friends. And so people choose their friends and they feel more powerful in that choice because they feel like they chose somebody who understands them, who gets them, and who's willing to be there for them in the way that they need. Whereas family, sometimes we take them for granted, they take us for granted. And, you know, usually things end up in some type of cluster F. I'm not going to say the rest of the word. But when you realize that you have other people, you realize you're a bigger part of something and you're not just a fractional part, right? So even in your roughest times, like, you have to remember that you're part of a whole, you're part of something bigger. In the movie, I was about to say Mulan. I saw a Mulan t-shirt today. Mulan is my favorite Disney movie ever. And I almost bought the t-shirt, and then I remembered, girl, you have just started a nonprofit. You restarted your business. You're not working a full-time job, like, you know, getting paid by somebody else. You're getting paid. Manage your coins. Leave Mulan there. Just wave at her. But yeah, so anyway, I was gonna say not Mulan, but Lion King. So in the Lion King, we kept hearing the phrase, "You're part of something bigger." And going back to what I said earlier, when you're talking about the power of the universe, right? We are all from the same atom, atom. And if you take it biblically, we became Adam, which is really, we're part of the same atom, right? And so we're the same atom. And that means we're part of a whole. We're part of a whole. But that doesn't mean that we're better than anything or anybody else, right? We are supposed to know and understand and have the authority to act on who we are, to see ourselves as the greater without diminishing anyone else, while allowing them to see themselves as the greater. Because when we come together, we're more powerful than we will ever know. Because again, our power is what says we're possible. Your power says you're possible. Your ability and capacity to act with authority is what makes you possible. It also makes you unstoppable. It also makes it so that other people can't stop you or hold you back from doing anything. So I'm trying to see my notes. And I had written this. I saw this on this website too. So it says, everything is energy, everything is one, everything is possible. Everything is energy, everything is one, everything is possible. Your power is connected. Your power is energy. Everything is energy, which means everything is power. The first law of thermodynamics, which is one of the things I love to talk about, says energy once created can never be destroyed, right? That means your thoughts, when you create something in your thoughts, you really created it in the world. You're just now trying to do the steps to make it come into fruition. But once it's created, it can never go away. That's why they say too, harness your words, watch what you say to people, because once you put something out there, once you say something to somebody, you can't ever take it back. You can apologize for it. You can live your life apologetically, and you can do things for them to try to make them feel better and not remember. But you can't ever take back what you said, which means they're always going to hold on to it in some way, shape, or form. What is the saying? I can forgive you, but I'll never forget. Because that becomes a memory, right? And that becomes something that we don't have any control over. We don't have any control over when those memories come up. When somebody pokes the bear a little bit or pokes in a hole that's sore, and that memory comes up, and then they're hurt all over again. So energy once created can never be destroyed. Watch what you say and watch what you think, because your words become your thoughts become your actions. So we don't want to create things that then we then have to find a way to discreate. That doesn't mean uncreate, because we can't, but discreate means to try to disconnect ourselves from that creation. And it's really hard to do. You know, they say that your first impression is the thing that people will never forget. And so it's hard to have people discreate the memory of who they thought you were. You can do everything in the world, but somewhere along the way, they're always going to remember who you used to be. You could have been the worst whatever in your whole life, and then turned around and for the next 50 years created charities, donated to charities, like healed people, got people off the street, fed people, like paid people's rent. Like you know, your name could be in lights for all the amazing things that you do as a humanitarian. And someone is always going to say, remember when she was a such and such? Child, I know. They're never going to forget, because energy once created can never be destroyed. First law of thermodynamics. So energy, everything is energy. Everything is energy. Your body is just energy memories that creates, you know, what it is we are. Like they said that the energy in your arms and your legs are the exact same energy. They're just they morph differently. They show up in the world differently. So everything is energy, and we are all the same energy. We are all connected. We are all the same thing. Everything is one, which means everything is possible. So really, that's what I want to talk about today. And I'm about to wrap up in a minute. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. If you remember that you have the authority to act and to change your life at any given moment, if you remember that every single thing that you're going through, every single thing that has happened in your life is an energy chain and train that you have created, and only you have the power to create and to discreate in your life, nobody else. People can come and they can come and support. And I always say the best form of support is not when people come and they do something for you, but when people come with the mirror to show you who you are so that you could do it for yourself. So that you can have the energy to remember who you are and do it for yourself. Again, Lion King, you have to know who you are. Remember who you are. You are the king. You are the energy source. You are not here to show creation. You are here to be creation. You are creation. You are the ultimate creation. You are the ultimate thing. Going by the name of all these years, of the Audacity Expert, all these years, audacity just simply means to have a shameless boldness. And I say simply, and it's nothing simple about audacity, but that used to be my moniker for years. I was the Audacity Expert. To have a shameless boldness and an arrogant disregard for what others may think. To have a shameless boldness and possess an arrogant disregard to what others may think is possible in your life. An arrogant disregard for what others may think is possible in your life. I don't have to be arrogant against you. I'm just going to be arrogant in my disregard to whether or not you believe what I can do, what I said I'm going to do. I'm going to be arrogant in my disregard as to whether or not you believe I have the power to act in the way that I need to act, to get the things done that I need to get done so that I can live out the purpose that I was intended to live out. I'm going to have a shameless boldness to profess and to possess who I am. Right? Shameless. That means I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. I'm going to let people know in every single way. And I'm never going to dim my light, because in dimming my light, I keep other people in darkness. Did y'all hear that? In dimming your light, you keep others in darkness, because when you walk into a room, you're supposed to walk into a room with all of your power on display. Right? When you walk into a room, people should feel the earth vibrate and the earth in them. They should feel it. They should own it. They should know it. They should be like, oh, there she is. Who is she? I have no idea. Because we are all connected, which means you didn't walk in that room just for people to be like, oh, girl, she's so pretty. Oh, look at him. He's so this. You walked into that room because somebody in that room needs to connect to you for something. In order for us to move our lives forward, we all need to connect. But what usually happens is we get in that room and we start being fractional parts instead of being a whole. We become 1/8, 1/15, 1/22. I'm one of the 22 people in this room. You know, when people say, how many people in the room? 22. Or when you have to pull numbers when you're in a bakery or something and you're number 5 of 22, we're fractional parts. We forget that we're supposed to walk into a room whole and connect with wholeness so that we can bring the wholeness together and allow the power to exude. So I can say to you, what is it that you're doing? You just started a business? my daughter and I, and my friend and her daughter, and I don't like to out people. She doesn't put her stuff, and so I'm not going to say who she is. But so yesterday we visited this new coffee shop, PJ's. I think PJ's has been open now for maybe 6 months, 5 months, something like that. And we've been meaning to go, and it was one of those things on the website that, hey, PJ's Coffee, and so we went, and my daughter fell in love with the coffee. I had a great peppermint, and I'm not a big coffee person. I just like, I drink coffee socially. Like people drink alcohol socially. I drink coffee socially. I could use it or lose it, but I love to go and get anything, a Frappuccino, anything, because I'm a fat girl, FAT and PHAT. So I love whipped cream. I love all that stuff. And so we went yesterday and we had a great time. We sat out there. We met both owners. And then my daughter and I went back again today. And today I didn't have a coffee drink. Today I had a green tea mojito. Oh my God, it was so good. I slurped it down in like 30 seconds and I was out shopping, and that was a mistake because I had to use the bathroom. But and I'm sorry, y'all, I hit a button. But anyway, so in this coffee shop, like one of the things, because I just restarted my for-profit business, but I also have a nonprofit. One of the things I love to do when I visit anybody's business, especially if they're new, is to figure out what I can do to help them. What can I do to help them? And how can I help them get the word out about what they're doing? Because if I'm going to be a patron of something, then I want to be a patron boldly. I want to be a patron loudly. I want the world to know, hey, this is good stuff. And if you're ever in the neighborhood, you should try it, right? So I went in yesterday and I was looking around and I was talking to the owner, and she was saying to me that they connect to other nonprofits, because she was asking us what we did. And she said, yeah, we connect to other nonprofits. And so I can tell that she has that spirit as well of wanting to connect and see how you can help somebody live their lives in a bigger, better, and bolder way. And I just think that that's the way the world is supposed to be. When I meet people, I'm very interested and invested in their stories. And people call me nosy. I am. For good reason. I love a story. I love for people to tell me the things that they're going through, what they're experiencing, how life is going, because I'm listening for things. Like when I give gifts to people, people are usually amazed because they're like, how did you know? Like, I don't give gifts just to say, well, I gave you a gift check. You know, I could check the box that, okay, I fulfilled my duty. I gave you a gift. You may not ever use it or like it, but hey, I gave you one, right? I'm so nosy and invested in people, who they are, that I'm paying attention to how I can help you fulfill a need in your life. Even for those people who don't think they have any needs, they're like, oh no, my needs are met in abundance. I don't need anything. We all need something. So if I'm listening, if I'm paying attention, then I can figure out how to use my power to help you with your power, so we could become even bigger. You know the saying, one candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. Have you ever watched, though, when you use a candle to light a candle, at the moment of connection of the spark of that flame is even brighter, right? You hear the noise, you hear it. Like every part of that experience is loud and joyous and amazed within itself. It's like, woo, we did it, right? It's like celebratory. It's like, here you go. We're supposed to continue to move forward in life, lighting one another's candles, lighting the candles of the things that interest us, helping people find their spark and their flame. That's what power is. That's why when I got sucked into the Marvel universe, let me go back to that. As I move my paper to the side. Remember on game shows, it's like, yeah. But so Silver Surfer, I still don't know who that is, y'all. If y'all know who Silver Surfer is, just type it in the chat for me. Tell me who Silver Surfer is, or I'm gonna have to ask my son. He's gonna be like, Mom, I ain't telling you this no more. You act like you don't want to know. If I didn't want to know, I wouldn't keep asking. I don't know why I keep asking, but I keep forgetting DC and Marvel. But anyway, so Silver Surfer, the quote, to will the power cosmic is to be in touch with every other living thing at once. It is to recognize that we aren't alone in the universe, but that we alone are the universe. We are the cosmos coming to know itself, to love itself. And when you witness that for even the briefest of moments, you will see there is nothing more beautiful. How many of you guys watch those like good feeling stories where you see somebody helping another human being? You know, up until August of this year, for the last almost 3 years, I worked for a homeless organization, and my job was to go under the bridges, into encampments, under the freeways, and into some places that most people would be afraid to go, and just sidewalks and wherever my client was, to find my clients and to help them get housed. And that is like one of the best feelings in the world. But for me, I just did the job because I love to do the job. But when I watch other people do it, it's like, I'm amazed that people, when they show that they care, and when they're being caring individuals, that we have the power to change the world. You know, I still have clients that reach out to me that tell me how much I changed their life from 2 years ago. Because it wasn't, for me, it wasn't just about housing somebody. It was about reminding them of who they are, reminding them of how strong they are. You know, using my platform at that moment. Hey, cousin William Bond, using my platform at that moment to tell them, you're at a point in your life where you are at the best point in your life right now for the biggest comeback ever. And all the power lives on the inside of you. No one else in this world could have gone through and survived what you have gone through and survived. And now it's time for you to thrive, because you've shown, if nothing else, you've shown yourself that you have the power to do anything. I remember this client, I had just started working with the homeless, and I was working at a shelter, and she was leaving. She was going off to find her own housing. And she had told us this story. She said when they were homeless due to Hurricane Harvey from 3 years ago. And she said when Harvey happened, she was living under this bridge, and Harvey displaced them even further. And so we were working with the homeless that were displaced. They were already displaced in life, and then they were displaced by the hurricane. So we were working with them. And so she said when Harvey came, like, they lost everything that they had. The water was so high, but she said she lost the only pair of shoes she had, only pair of tennis shoes that she had. She had on these like little flip-flops when she had to evacuate, but she lost her shoes, and she couldn't find her tennis shoes, so she left in her flip-flops. And when Cousin William, I don't know if you meant to send me a request to be in my video or not, but I just wanted to acknowledge that I saw it. But hey, but so she said when the waters finally dissipated and they were able to go back to try to find their stuff, she saw her shoes, and she dug her shoes out of the mud and washed her shoes, and then she showed them to us. And she said those were her favorite shoes, and she loved to wear them because they reminded her that she survived something that day, and that her shoes survived and were waiting for her. And I was like, oh my gosh. So in the story, and then listening to her, and then we're all sitting, I'm crying because I'm a wuss, right? So I'm listening to her, and we're asking questions, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, girl, what size shoe is that? She had no idea, right? So she told me, and I said, and what brand? I said, it's your favorite brand, huh? So anyway, y'all know the moral, right? I went and bought her some shoes, and she cried so hard. And she looked at me, she grabbed my hand, and she said, I'm not going to put these on right now because I'm going off to find my housing, and I need my good luck shoes on. And so, but the next time I saw her, every time I saw her after that, she had the new shoes on. But anyway, the moral of the story is we are supposed to lift people, not just lift them from the darkness like we're more powerful, but to remind them of their power, to show them of how strong they are, and to help them in any way we can to move forward. I loved doing that job because I loved that I was able to connect to people who were able to teach me something. Right there, they are seemingly at the worst point in their lives for whatever reason, whether it was something that they did or something that life did, and they couldn't bounce back fast enough. But they're at a point in their lives where people have given up on them. But if you really sit down and talk to the homeless, especially those who are chronically homeless, who've been out there for a long time, my goodness, like, my God, the stories and the lessons and the power that comes from them, and they don't even know it's power. They need somebody not to just give them something. They need somebody to, what's the saying? Give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime. One client said to me, I'm going to maintain my housing and live like this forever because you reminded me who I am. Not by helping them get housed with some money that's coming from the government, but because I always found a way to tap in. I do that with everybody. I believe that is the source of power. That is the source of power. Silver Surfer said, we are all connected. We are supposed to touch every living thing at once. How can we do that? Because we are every living thing at once. My power says I'm possible. Your power says you're possible. And when we connect that power together, when we join forces, when we remind each other of who we are, who you are. If I look at you and I tell you who you are, if I visit your establishment over and over again, I'm saying your power makes you possible. And I'm coming back for more than just wings or waffles or coffee. I'm coming back because I feel a connection. And I understand that the universe is calling us to be in this space together for whatever reason and season and time. Because our power makes us possible. It's to recognize that we aren't alone in the universe. We alone are the universe. I am the universe, which means I'm supposed to shine my light for you. You are the universe. You're supposed to shine your light for me. And our power makes us possible. Our power makes us possible. I have this one phrase that I say to clients all the time. I got it from somebody else, but I can't remember who, so I'm just going to own it. I don't know who said it. But first, there's this quote by Walter Russell I have written down. It says, I have no limitations. Unlimited power is mine within that which is universal. Everything is universal, so unlimited power is mine. I have no limitations. I have no limitations. And so one thing when I'm talking to clients or talking to people and you're asking them what it is they want to do, but they're giving you excuses or reasons why it can't happen. Instead of saying what they're going to do to make it come true, they're telling you why it can't come true. Yeah, well, I would do that, but, well, can't you do it this way? Yeah, well, that ain't going to work because it is. Well, then what about that? Oh, well, that's not going to work. I tried that already. I tried everything. So I often ask people, are you living for your dreams or are you arguing for your limitations? Because if you're living for your dreams, you find ways to step into your power, your possibility, your authority. But if you're arguing for your limitations, then you're always going to be where you are. So please don't go to anybody, especially don't hire a coach like myself and say, I want my dreams. I want the things that I'm put here for. I want my purpose to happen and come true. You cannot tell us that you want your purpose to happen to come true if you are living that rehearsed life of, well, I tried that already and it didn't work. Well, I would do that, but that's not going to happen. Are you living for your dreams or are you arguing for your limitations? That's the first place you have to start. Before you can step fully into your power and say nothing's working, well, let me see. Is it that it's not working, or am I fighting so hard for my limitations that I'm keeping it true? I'm keeping me true where I am instead of being true to my power, because the power never diminishes. It never goes away. I'll tell y'all this one quick story. I remember once I had gone to the zoo. And I'm alpha energy all day. People notice me when I walk into a room. I can't help it. Sometimes I try not to have it happen, but it's just true. I'm alpha energy. And so I walk into a room and and so we go to the zoo and animals, right? We go to see the animals. And my favorite animal in the world is, and I should say used to be after this day, but is the zebra. So we go to the little zebra area and I'm excited, right? There's other people around, but I'm excited. So I'm giving off excited energy. And this zebra turns around and looks at my face, y'all, and loses his mind. He starts grunting. He's like dragging his foot backward, doing the little foot thing. He's shaking, nose is flaring, and he's standing here. So everybody around me is now moving to see who the zebra is looking at. They move, he's laser focused, zeroed in on me, right? And so I kind of like step to the side and he moves with me. And I go this way and he moves with me. And I was like, oh my God. And then he started like shaking his shoulders and getting in position like he was about to charge. And I grabbed them kids I was with. I was like, let's go. I was like, I'm not about to take on the zebra. I didn't do anything but be excited. But my energy is already a lot for animals. I walk into people's house with dogs. The dogs go crazy, right? If it's a breed that is very what do you call it? I'm sorry. Siri keeps going off on my computer and my phone because of these. I borrowed my daughter's AirPods. I don't know what's happening. But if I'm in there with like a protective breed, oh, immediately they're just like zeroed in. It's like, I'm watching you, child. So anyway, we leave the zebras, right? And you would think that would be the end of the story. Nope. So I'm with my mom and my daughter and one of my daughter's best friends at the time. And so then we go to the reptiles, and the Komodo dragon is in his little tent, in his little aquarium with the light on him. Everybody's standing around. I'll walk up behind this little boy standing right here, his father right there. I'm behind this little boy, and I'm just looking at the Komodo dragon, and he's like looking around, and he's not moving his head, he's just moving his eyes, and his eyes locked on me, and he went boop, and his head looked, and he turned his head back, but then he put his eyes back on me. Come on, Siri, stop it. So anyway, so he looking at me, I'm looking at him, and now the little boy is getting scared because Komodo dragon's nose is flaring. His body is like tensing up. He's moving his little arm and he's like flaring his nose, and he's eyeballing me, but the little boy is right in front of me. So then the little boy kind of moves over to the left, and the Komodo dragon never looks back. So then the little boy turns around and looks at me like, oh my God. And then he turns back and looks at the dragon. And then the father is like, let's go, because this dragon, his whole energy has changed. And so my daughter goes, Mommy, is that animal mad at you too? I was like, let's go. So we leave. You would think that would be the end of it. I sure wish it was. So a few minutes later, we make it to the birds. And birds are just as calm. Everybody's walking in. They're just as calm. I had stopped, and I think my mom didn't want to walk through that one, so she stayed with the cooler, because we were pulling a little cooler because we're in Texas, y'all. So it was like 152,000 degrees. And so we had like the little drinks. So she stopped with the cooler, and I walk in with the kids, and those birds lost their mind. And I get by this one bird cage, and that bird is at the rail. And it was like, and my daughter goes, Mommy, what did you do? And my mom is sitting outside the little thing, and she goes, Tanoa, what did you do to those birds? I was like, I'm just ready to lead a zoo. I have that energy. And that particular day, I guess my energy was just binging, binging for everywhere, everybody. So I know that when I walk into a room, it's power that walks into the room. I'll walk into the room like I don't have a care in the world. Now, really, I'm not even thinking about anything or anybody when I walk in the room. I'm scanning, I'm Army come in, right? So I'm scanning the perimeter, looking at people, trying to see who's where, who's doing what, where people are sitting. I can tell you 5 seconds later where everybody is, so I'm not even thinking about that. But people feel it. But guess what? They feel it for you too. So no matter how many times we try to pull back, we can't pull back our power, because we are energy that has been created, and energy once created can never be destroyed. And energy is another word for power. So when you walk into a room, you walk into a space, when you see people, just know that people are recognizing you for what they see and for who you are and for what you're giving off. And you can't stop it. You can't pull it back. You can't make it not true, because you're alive and you're breathing for a reason. Every breath you take is power. Every breath you take is connection. Every breath you take is authority, power, the ability or capacity to act or perform effectively. the authority. I have the authority to be effective in my life. And as long as I'm shamelessly bold, right, then I'll have whatever it is I speak. As long as I have an arrogant disregard for people who try to come against me, then I'll be able to fight my way through. I have the power, and my power makes me possible. Say that. I have the power, and my power makes me possible. You have the power, and your power makes you possible. Everything is energy, everything is one, everything is possible. So the next time you meet somebody, the next time you visit with somebody, the next time you go into a store, whether it's a new store or the same store you go in all the time, just know and understand that it is your power that is not only making you possible, but you're reminding somebody else of how possible they are. All of these places, when they have people who buy their albums, their music, or buy their coffee drinks, or buy their clothing, or buy their purses. When you shop and when you support others, really what you're saying is, I am lending my power to you. Because that person can't be the well-known entity that they are without you. They needed you. They needed you and all the yous in the world, all the yous of us that have created that like we made them because we buy their stuff. So really, I'm lending my power to you. Hey, Steve, I'm lending my power. Okay, Siri, stop it. I'm lending my power to you in that moment. Because my power says I'm possible. Your power says you're possible. And so we have to ask ourselves, am I living for my dreams or am I arguing for my limitations? And if I'm living for my dreams, then I'm always going to look at the ways that my power can be what I need it to be. And if I'm arguing for my limitations, then I'm not going to see myself as powerful. I'm going to see myself as a fractional part. And I'll only be a part of the whole instead of being the whole. Hey, Sean. And so we need to be the whole and to remember who we are. I hear Musafa, remember who you are. So that's it. That's it. That's all I got. A. So nobody had any questions or comments today. And that's okay, because I got to just talk. But if you guys are ever up in the middle of the night and you are an insomniac like me or bored, go fall into the rabbit hole of the Marvel universe. I'm telling y'all, their power game is off the chart. Like, I'm going to always remember this quote. I still don't know who Silver Surfer is, but what Silver Surfer had to say was very important. And there are people in this world, they may not know who you are, but when you walk in a room, they feel you and they want to connect. And they're never going to forget you if you do it the right way. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Yep, that's not touchscreen.